2017 has been a deadly year in Tijuana. The Baja California Attorney General's office says there were 1,000 homicide victims so far this year. That number already surpasses last year's total of 910 in this city of 1.8 million residents. During just 1 week in August, 48 people lost their lives in homicides. That's nearly the same total of homicide victims in San Diego all of last year. Officials and community leaders say these crimes are largely linked to the domestic drug trade.
It's a criminal problem, they're affecting each other. There is a war among cartels. It's not the best image that we want for our city.
There is a war taking place at the bottom of the pyramid among street drug dealers.
The common citizen is worried. We have also experienced some collateral damages, small kids, who get caught on the crossfire. But on an overall basis, it's more related to a criminal activity.
The victims in the first week of August reflected an overall trend. Most were men between 20 and 40 years of age. Most were shot to death. The flood of victims has overwhelmed homicide investigators. Nearly 9 out of 10 crimes go unsolved. One of the reasons for that is that in cases involving drug disputes, family members and witnesses often refuse to cooperate. The city's Red Cross, which responds to 98% of Tijuana's ambulance calls, has handled twice as many shootings as last year. In many cases, the victims are already dead by the time the ambulance arrives.
The root of the problem in Mexico and in Tijuana is the addiction to illegal drugs. So we have a real problem. We used to be only a country that export drugs, but right now some of our people are unfortunately addicts to drugs.
Extortions and kidnappings are down. Authorities say homicides are largely relegated to vast outlying working-class neighborhoods. These are places with too few parks and police, but too many guns, drugs, and profound social needs. Many of the killings are taking place in broad daylight. People have become desensitized to the grisly scenes. Kids continue to ride their bikes and play in the street, while others go on about their daily lives. Authorities say the violence has risen in neighborhoods that are havens for methamphetamine. A dose sells for 50 pesos. That's less than $3.
In the past, the main drug that was used in Tijuana was marijuana, and now the problem is methamphetamines. So that's a real hard drug. The problem is that the drug consumption is related to committing crimes, because a person that is addicted to meth cannot work, cannot do legal things. So in order to gain money to buy more drugs, he has to commit crimes.
State investigators agree that drugs are a common thread. Nearly 80% of the victims have some kind of criminal record, typically for crimes involving drugs, carrying a firearm, car theft, or gang activity. And nearly 85% of suspects are linked to the neighborhood drug trade. Officials say this problem is not going to be solved with weapons or by police or the homicide unit. They say it's going to take the entire community to come together and address this issue. In Tijuana, I'm Cruz reporting for the San Diego Union-Tribune. Jeremy Thomas enlisted in the Marine Corps when he was 18 years old. 2 years later, he was deployed to Afghanistan. On August 28, 2011, the young machine gunner was injured when an IED detonated. Thomas underwent more than 20 surgeries, and his left hand had to be amputated.
They had me on oxycodone, Percocets, methadone. There were just countless others.
A year later, he was hooked on prescription painkillers.
They worked in the point where I, would just be so intoxicated I would reach kind of the oblivion state of, I don't know where I am or, what's going on. I don't have to deal with my life and the mess it had become.
Another year in, he had turned to street heroin and crime to support his addiction. By 2014, Thomas was booted from the Marine Corps and headed for a near-deadly overdose.
You know, I was escaping the pain and nothing was wrong, and then, you know, my world's kind of crashing around me. You know, I'm feeling suicidal, fighting with my wife. I didn't want to get out of bed ever.
For Iraq and Afghanistan war veterans, the amount of chronic pain and mental health problems they report upon coming home has led to a deadly combination of high prescription levels and increased likelihood of overdose.
It really can affect someone's lifestyle. Once somebody's addicted, it can throw their whole life into chaos.
Dr. James Mickelson is a primary care doctor at the San Diego VA and chairman of the VA's Pain Council.
And VA recognized the opiate epidemic and recognized the impact it was having on veterans. So they set up an opiate safety initiative. And the opiate safety initiative had several goals. One was to decrease the use of high-dose opiates, were really found to be the most dangerous component.
The San Diego VA has cut the number of patients on habit-forming painkillers by roughly a third since the safety initiative began in 2013.
It's a complicated and challenging issue for everyone involved.
San Diego is home to the country's biggest cluster of post-9/11 veterans. According to the VA, 1 in 5 nationally has been prescribed an opium-based painkiller. That's roughly twice the rate as much older vets. The San Diego VA has seen more than 500 patients a year with opiate addiction diagnosis since 2012, with a spike of 649 patients in 2015. Nationally, 68,000 veterans have some level of opiate addiction.
I'd recommend, you know, taking medications as long as you need them, but getting off of them as fast as you can.
Since getting into recovery, Thomas has managed to get his criminal record dismissed, and his discharge has been upgraded to a regular honorable status. The 25-year-old is now a full-time college student looking toward the future.
You know, moving forward in life and doing good. Trying to, get back to being me.
I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get
13-month-old Camden Baum's smile and laughter light up the room. Camden was born on June 3, 2016, with a congenital deformity called microtia. His right ear did not fully develop. He does not have an ear canal, and he can't hear from his right side.
So at first, I don't think we really knew what that meant. Is my son deaf? Like, what does this mean? We started getting more information about what that would entail to get the hearing aid for him. The hearing aid is something that needs to be replaced every 5 years, and it's not covered by insurance. I think at first we were expecting, maybe a couple $1,000s, like a normal hearing aid would be, but the price was close to $10,000. So it was a little bit of a shock to us, kind of took us back, like, how are we gonna make this happen for our son?
That's when Anne-Marie's coworker and a friend turned to GoFundMe.
We had absolutely no idea what would happen.
I mean, we were just excited when it was like $100. We're like, what? Yes, $100. And then, like, I would text her all the time, oh my gosh, did you see it? Another $20, $5, and it was amazing.
He's so happy. He's going to be able to, have a better quality of life because of it.
Making a positive impact in the lives of others is the goal of the San Diego Union-Tribune and GoFundMe's new digital media partnership. Readers can now connect with one another. They can quickly and easily help others by creating a GoFundMe directly from a news story on the San Diego Union-Tribune website. Just look for the GoFundMe button on our stories and start a campaign or donate to an existing one.
I think the partnership's great. I think it'll reach more people, and I think it'll really help.
Thanks to the generosity of friends and strangers, Camden's parents were able to buy him the special hearing aid he needed.
Good job. It's really been a blessing in our lives, and because of the GoFundMe, we were able to get the hearing aid for him. So this is pretty new. He just got it. So he's still getting used to it, and we're super excited to see how this is going to help him.